back to the SPF framework, which is my high-level framework for business-to-business copywriting. What we did was we identified people based on their various stages of awareness and created copywriting and content catered to those different stages. And then we applied psychological principles to help educate them and persuade them. And next, what we're going to do is look at the funnel. So what we're going to do is take what we've learned here and apply it here to help push people further along the funnel. Now, the funnel is a little bit complicated. It's a little bit tricky, and I'm going to explain why. It's because when I'm talking about a funnel, I'm talking about this thing on the far right, which is basically lead stages. So at the top of the funnel, we have marketing captured leads, and at the bottom, we have an acquired customer. But you've probably also heard that a funnel is awareness, consideration, and purchase. That's the most popular template in the marketing world. It's a little bit dated, but it's still used in a lot of cases, like with LinkedIn advertising and Facebook advertising. Those are the basic categories. That's fine. But there's a reason that I'm separating what you might call a marketing funnel from what is probably closer to a sales funnel. And it's because in business-to-business contexts, usually what people are talking about when they use the funnel is this, okay? It's more focused around the sales team. It's short-term, where is the pipeline revenue coming from? And it's an internal measurements of what's happening with prospective customers. But in marketing, we tend to think higher level, we tend to think longer term, but business-to-business environments are often more concerned with performance this month, performance this quarter, performance for this year. So sometimes you can refer to this as the funnel or as the marketing funnel, as I did when I went through the example of LinkedIn ads. It's a marketing funnel can be developed based around these. But the other key thing is that it's really a targeting methodology. We're going to target people at this stage, or we're going to target people at this stage, that stage, etc. And it's more externally focused. It's what are the potential customers going through? Whereas the funnel I'm going to talk about is more what is the company going through? And I think where there's a lot of problems in business-to-business copywriting is failing to distinguish between what stage the customer, the prospect is at, and what's actually happening with the lead stages. So, for example, I might request a demo for a product. Immediately, that means I'm a marketing qualified lead from the context of lead stages. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm actually aware of the product. I may never have watched a video about the product. I don't know enough about it to actually have a meaningful conversation with sales. So what we've done is we've surfaced a disconnect between this internal funnel and what's happening externally with the market. So I think it's important to separate those two because often that's the source of a lot of mismatch between marketing messages and what the customer is actually ready to receive. So in business-to-business marketing, we typically think of the funnel as something like this. It's more sales-centric, less marketing and broad conceptually focused. Now, in business-to-consumer marketing, those two things are kind of merged together. So often you might track data using something like awareness and purchase intent, which you would track using Nielsen data, for example. And the way they get that is by surveying panels of customers in the target group and saying, are you interested in buying this product? But in business to business, you're actually funneling leads into a sales process. So it's a bit different, which is why I'm putting the weight on this type of funnel. So this is the funnel framework that is going to be applicable in most cases. Now, you can have a nuanced version of this. So for example, with account-based marketing, you might be more focused on the buying group instead of individual leads. That's fine. But for most purposes, we can use this, what I would say a fairly sophisticated marketing funnel. So at the top, we have marketing captured leads. Marketing captured leads are all contacts basically that are in your customer relationship management system. And it could be leads that you actually imported because you purchased a list from a broker. Now, a lot of marketers in the business to business space are really busy trying to capture leads. They're trying to trick people into providing their email address to get access to a white paper. They're using content syndication to generate leads. But the reality is that most marketing leads don't actually convert to paying customers or don't even convert to meaningful sales conversations. So it's important to think about leads in very specific ways, in granular ways. It's not we generate a bunch of leads, a bunch of white paper downloads, who cares? What we're really interested is more these bottom funnel leads that are going to convert into paying customers. Okay, so marketing captured leads can be gotten anywhere. You can just buy 20,000 leads and have them tomorrow if you buy it from a broker. Next, we have marketing engaged leads. So these are leads that are actually signing up for your webinars, they're participating in your sandbox experiences, they're having some sort of click-throughs on your emails. There's different ways to define these, and you can tweak it as you want, but basically they're engaging with your brand. Next, we have the all-important marketing qualified leads. Now, how this is defined varies by company, but basically it's whatever the criteria are that would prompt somebody to be handed over to an account executive or the sales department in general in some cases. Often this is somebody requesting a free consultation. Sometimes it's signing up for a free trial if that's a meaningful step. In other cases, it might be signing up for something unique like an ROI consultation or an audit, something like that. That's usually what converts somebody into a marketing qualified lead. Next, we have a sales qualified lead. So that means the person actually showed up to the consultation, or there was actually some sort of meaningful dialogue with the salesperson, and there was a connection that got formed there. Because often what happens is there's this big gap where people don't actually show up for the consultation, for the demo. And so once there's a meaningful conversation there, somebody becomes a sales qualified opportunity if they're likely to make a purchase either from you or a competitor in the next, say, 3 to 6 months. And there's different ways to do this. So a lot of people use BANT to figure out whether a sales qualified lead is actually an opportunity. I disagree with that because I don't think that it's loose enough. You should have more opportunities than a lot of companies do because they're using too strict a definition of what an opportunity is. And I'll provide a link to a Salesforce, a HubSpot article from a Harvard grad who explains his framework for defining a sales qualified opportunity. And this is going to vary. If you're dealing with large enterprise B2B products, then the opportunity may have a longer time horizon. So they may be willing to purchase in the next year or so. If it's small business, then you probably consider an opportunity something that could close in the next 3 months. And this is one of the most important steps because this is usually what defines the success of the marketing team is the number of opportunities and the potential revenue that's associated with those opportunities. So, for example, if somebody is a prospect is a good candidate for your premium plan, that's $2,000 a month, then that is an opportunity that has a pipeline of $5,000. And then you would add up all the different levels that each opportunity is at to figure out, okay, this is how much pipeline we're producing. So you can see that copywriting is largely about nurturing. It's about creating persuasive copy to each of these different stages to push people along this funnel. It's not as simple as a business consumer where it's just like, okay, buy now. Right? It's directly to customer. No, there's more nuance and sophistication and education that's involved. It's the lead nurturing that's fundamental. Now, after somebody becomes an opportunity, what you're going to do is push them to actually buy. And the way that you do that is you're going to figure out why they wouldn't buy from you. And you're going to address those concerns through copywriting. And with collaboration, of course, with the sales team, because ultimately they're going to close the deal, but you're going to help them. You're not just going to abandon them. Once somebody reaches this stage. So we have some benchmarks here. This is from Forrester, and we can see that there is marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, pipeline, one deal, and then the end-to-end conversion rate. So they don't actually use the first stages that we talked about, the marketing capture lead and the marketing engage lead, because as I mentioned, the business to business world is more interested in the sales pipeline than they are with the marketing awareness funnel, if you will. I'm just calling them stages of awareness. So even here, they're just starting at MQL. So essentially, once there's a handoff to the sales team, that's where we have a funnel. So if we look at benchmarks here, there's about a 1/3 to a 1/4 to 1/3 conversion rate through each stage. So you can go through your data to figure out if the conversion rate is low. It's like, okay, well, whatever copywriting we're doing to get people to have a conversation with the sales team, if the conversion rate's only 10%, then we need to improve that. Okay, we need to be more persuasive. We need to use more and better psychological principles to persuade them to actually talk to a salesperson. Okay, maybe they're not becoming opportunities. Okay, maybe what we need to do is create more time urgency. Okay, how do we convince them that if they don't act now, then they're going to lose this amount of money? Okay, we talked about that when we went through the reduce framework and how loss averse people are, right? They're very much concerned with what they have and less concerned with what they're gaining. And then becoming a one deal. Well, maybe they're considering a competitor. Okay, let's put out some copy that compares us to competitors. And then we have the top performers here. So here the range is about 1/3 to 40% conversion rate from one lead stage to the next. So you can use these benchmarks to isolate where problems are in your funnel and then implement copywriting to fix and alleviate those issues.